Hello, I'm Melissa, I write books. Hey, let's go write, come on. We're back. Welcome to the video. I'm line editing a book. I'm at the midpoint. I will say these chapters, the last like 15 pages, have been probably the most edits I've done. I sometimes fall into this trap of starting the scene too early. Like they'll start the scene like walking to the car, and then it's like they have to walk to the car and then they get in the car and drive to the place and then start doing the thing. And I do this sometimes because I need to explain what's happening, and like this happens a lot in this book specifically because one of the main characters is often thrown into things that they don't fully understand, and it's kind of just like part of the story. They agreed to do this thing, but they don't always know what the thing means. And so I'll often be like, we're walking to the car, like here's what we're gonna do, ready? You know, it was just a lot of like, okay, how do I totally rearrange the scene so that we're already in the car? And there's other people who are in the car, so then it's like rearranging the scene so that like they're a part of this conversation. So I'm like redistributing sentences to different people and also introducing all of these new people that we've never met. So, but I think I have that scene in a good place. And then the next scene is like, I talked about this in my last video, but my main character just needs to piece together a lot of information. And I'm also feeling good about that one too. It really, this whole process feels like I'm just layering in the last pieces. Like it's like when you have a puzzle. Who would have thought, me talking about puzzles, and you have like less than 10 pieces left of the puzzle, and it's like, you know that the story as a whole makes sense, but you can see the pieces that are missing. Like there are 10 pieces missing but it's so much easier to put that piece into place when you know what the rest of the picture looks like. And it's like, okay, this little piece has like one spot of blue and one spot of brown. Like it's very clear where it goes based on the rest of the puzzle. And that feeling, I always find that the puzzling feels similar to writing or plotting or piecing things together, because it really does feel that way. Like I just wrote this sentence, like literally a sentence, and it's like, okay, that makes all of this feel better. So it was good. It was a lot of brain work. Okay. This coffee shop, apparently, it was just a journey. As I write, which you can probably tell, I do a lot of staring off into space, and I usually look something like this. This man, and I was kind of facing the door, which I didn't really realize, but this man was carrying all these cups of coffee, and he was this older man, not the same old man from last time, but he was like walking out the door, and he kind of pauses and looks at me, and I like took out a headphone, just like, hey, and he was like, it looks like it was a beautiful thought, and then walks out. But it was a beautiful thought. I mean, it was actually kind of a violent thought, but it was related to a violent book, but it's not even that violent of a book, but a little bit. Anyway, it was weird. Then like 2 minutes after that, this guy, I watched him, because I do a lot of people watching too, just like as I'm thinking through things. He walks from his car to the door, opens the door, pauses, and then closes the door. I watch him walk back to his car, get in his car, and drive away. And I was like, maybe he forgot something at home, but I really like to think that he recognized someone. And I knew he was a college student because he was around like maybe he just like wore that shirt, but did you see a long lost lover? Did you see your murderer? Like, what is going on? What is going on? So that was a weird moment. But anyway, the last like 4 chapters though I haven't put into the actual book yet. So it's gonna take a long time because I usually do, after I edit the chapter on paper, I edit it in the book, and even then it takes like 40 minutes to input into the book and to like make all the sentences right. So it's gonna take a good chunk of time here, probably the rest of today, to kind of put all that together into the actual book, because it's gonna be a lot of rearranging and writing and just like, I feel like we're trucking along. It's gonna be, I think, really a relief when I get past the midpoint. Because again, Act 3 I feel like has had significant edits. Act 2 Part 2 is probably gonna be a ridiculously long mess that is horrible, so I'm not looking forward to that, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Anyway, yeah, let's write some more. Hello, it's me. Are you surprised? Were you expecting someone else? Okay. Oh, sorry. Should I pause my ambiance, or are you okay with the wind, the rain sound? I feel like I throw the word write and retreat around a lot. And really I'm just spending the day alone writing, which I think of writing retreats as much more structured, which I did write out like what I want to do in each hour, but then I ended up spending 30 minutes watching clips of Kelly Clarkson's season of American Idol. So that kind of threw off the timeline. It was more so just like a glorified to-do list. It's going. I'm in the midpoint right now, and it really is fine. I promise. I'm on chapter 28, I think, which we're at the midpoint, and I'm at chapter 28. There is like gonna be 60 chapters in this book. I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but my chapters are short. They're getting a little bit longer now. This book is just getting longer, and I have just accepted that it's going to be 85,000 words. It just is going to be. Right now it's at 82,000 words, and I know it's gonna be 85,000 words. And I think that's actually okay. For some reason, I'd had it in my head that I wanted to get it under 80, like I wanted it to be at 79, but I don't really know where that number was coming from, because the wedding season's 74,000 words, and near the end of June was 79,000 words. Everybody likes a short thriller. Keep your thrillers short, Alyssa. But I think when it comes to querying, I had been worried, like I don't want it to look too long. Like I don't want to be on any auto no lists, because now on Query Tracker, they have this thing where agents can be a lot more specific about parameters on their end. So they can have like a word count cap, where if somebody says their word count is 150,000 words, it just automatically rejects it, and they don't even see it. There's just more things that agents can do to customize, which I think in the long run is good, because that means the queues will be shorter. Like I think there's a lot of people who query who just don't know anything about querying, and so they're sending like maybe a first draft of things. Their books are way too short or way too long, and it's like if more people who are just like an immediate no are getting weeded out faster, it helps agents go faster. We can hope that maybe that will make it go faster, but I know that was an update that happened right at the beginning of the year. So I just don't want to be on any no lists automatically because of the word count. But then I was looking up, like, just as a general, like, how long can thrillers be? And it said like 70 to 90,000 words, which does seem true to me. I think if I got to 90,000, that would be too long. But I'm also at this point where it's a dual POV book. Some dual POV books are very centered on one plot line. You're going back and forth, but it's really just about this one thing. And this book, they both have a lot going on. And in the second half of the book, well, no, actually. For Act 2, their plot lines really centralize, and so it's a lot more like going back and forth in the same location. But in Act 1 and Act 3, they're in different places, they're talking to different people, and they're also talking to each other, don't get me wrong. But so I think it's okay that this book is a little bit longer. I want every scene to really have the emotional impact that I want it to. A comment from a beta reader I had earlier, one of my friends said, like, I want more yearning here, like I want to feel this a little bit more. And so I think I just need to let some of, like, I have a lot of emotional scenes in the second half of the book, and I want those to like breathe a little bit. So it's okay that the book is going to be 85,000 words. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I don't think that's too long. And this is before I do yes, this is a line edit, but I'll do a copy edit too. And so hopefully cutting a few words in here and there, maybe get it down to like 83. But this always happens to me. I feel like I've talked about this a billion times, but I have sections of the book where I'm like, oh, this section is so good. I love it. I love everything about it. So then I just skip through it really quickly because I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry about this section. Because honestly, the midpoint has stayed the same. Like the things that have happened in the midpoint have stayed the same from draft 1. And so I'm never like making substantial edits to it. And so then I feel like I'm not actually line editing it. Because as you make substantial edits, you kind of line edit here and there. And honestly, the midpoint and I guess the climax is the same too. But the midpoint and the climax are the two things that have stayed the same. There's one other scene that has stayed mostly the same, but the context around it has shifted. And so it just needs more line editing than most of the other chapters. And it's like, there's just like no setting. Like I just like never describe anything ever. I just know why. And if I say, what is the phrase I used 84 times in that last chapter? To my surprise, stop, Cal. To my surprise is not something you can say anymore. You're done. Well, there was something else. For that matter, why are we saying that? What are we doing? Okay. So I'm literally smack dab in the middle of the midpoint. Oh, I'm a little nervous about this next chapter. I think I need to flesh it out a lot. Ugh. And it's literally describing like the floors are hardwood. Like this, like adding details so that so that you're not in a white room. I'm not a flowery writer at all. I mean, okay, sometimes I have a line in there where I'm like, okay, writer, but most of the time we're here, we're telling the story. You know how the characters feel, you know what they want, you know how they're interacting, you know how it's all going wrong. But do you know what color the carpet is? No. Are they sitting on a chair or a bar stool or a couch? I don't know. Do you know? Are they in a parking lot or a basement? Who knows? I do. And okay, I'm pretty good at establishing like, this is the place we are, but like no details, nothing. And this scene specifically, I was like, girl, what? So I have been working on it's literal like 2 sentences here and there. That's like, I shook the china cabinet with my fear. Not that sentence, but almost that sentence. You know, like those are the vibes I needed to add. I can't remember where I left Act 2, Part 2. And I'm a teeny bit nervous about that one. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I get nervous that the writing's gonna be bad, I turn British. I just really want to get to Act 3 because I know that it's better. Yesterday when I was at the library, I was only doing, like I was implementing the chapters into the book. I don't think I ever updated you on that. It was fine. It was miserable, but it was fine. Because it was, oh my gosh, I need to put in a clip of that page because like it's so, I tore that page apart and like rearranged it. Like, okay, did any of you, this is gonna be the most niche reference, okay? So you just have to bear with me. Did any of you guys read the book, is it The Adoration of Jenna Fox? It's by Mary Pearson, who wrote The Kiss of Deception trilogy, Dance of Thieves, Vow of Thieves. This book was like sci-fi, and I read it in, I don't know, elementary school, middle school, high school, that time. And it's this whole, spoiler alert, I guess, but it's this whole thing where she's in a car accident, but her parents are these like brain surgeons, but it's like in the future. So there's like this thing that can like replace your brain, like your cells of your body. And so she like comes out of this coma, and this whole time she's trying to figure out like, why do I feel so different? Like I don't have any memories of my past self. And you find out at the end that like the only thing that survived the crash, like the car crash, is like 10% of her brain. But using this technology, they like made her back into her old self. But she's like, who even am I anymore? Because I only have 10%. And so it's this whole question of like, how much of us do we need to be ourselves? Like what makes a person? And I feel like chapter 24, I like maybe a paragraph made it, and I was like moving things around, and I was like writing around and like trying to salvage like 10% of this chapter brain, and like trying to piece it together like they did to this like teenage girl in this science fiction movie. And I don't know what I'm saying, but like that's really the energy. It was bad. But now it's actually, no, it's not better. Because then I put it together, like I made all the changes, but I didn't actually read through it to see if it made sense, because it doesn't. And I also need to add setting. I also I have to introduce this whole like all these new characters, but none of them have names. Don't ask me why. It makes sense that you don't know their names. In this scene, we have to like, we're in the back of a car, and there's 5 people there, and 4 of them we don't know, but we're also getting briefed on something that we're about to do. And so I'm trying to like introduce everybody at the same time, but I didn't actually ever, because of the like reconfiguration of everything, I don't think there's ever a line that's like, I'm in a van with 4 people. Like, I don't think we ever say that. So I think right now I'm actually gonna go back and edit through that chapter just like in the document. And also there's a chapter after that I haven't implemented yet, but I've implemented the next chapter. It doesn't make sense, okay? Oh, shit. I was gonna say I'm gonna try to get through the whole midpoint before I eat lunch, but it's already 11. And that would be 2 chapters of work in the document, and then 2 more chapters. Maybe I'll try to get through the midpoint today, and then more. Hello, it's now Monday and I'm still in the midpoint because say it with me everyone, everything takes 2 months longer than you think it's going to, or in this case 2 days. I'm almost done. I've like on the page edited through the whole midpoint. I did some writing yesterday, I just didn't show it. I did like 2 hours I think of editing, and then put most of that into the document, but I was just looning. I was losing a little bit of steam, so I just saved the rest for today. So I'm gonna try to get some of that done during my lunch break today. And then we'll be fully in Act 2, Part 2. Although I think we probably already are, because I think it's funny I say the word like, I'm at the midpoint, but the midpoint itself is like 7 chapters. So we're like, realistically, we're well into Act 2, Part 2. I'm real nervous. I'm real nervous about Act 2, Part 2 because I honestly do not know the state of it. In January, I rewrote the beginning and then I went through the ending, but I don't remember where I started with that edit through to the end because I do remember feeling good about that ending section, but I just don't know where I started with that. And if I didn't, I don't think I did Act 2 Part 2, but I'm really hoping maybe I did, but I don't think so. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that scene I have to write next. Whew. Still have not written that that scene that I've been referring to for a minute now. What is going on? This doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I feel like I've already actually explained this, so I don't feel like I want to do the whole thing again about needing her to put the pieces together on the page. I just haven't actually written that yet. I've been talking about it for 2 weeks. Have I written it? No. But that's the next thing. I don't know, everyone. I don't know. I'll continue on with this vlog for today. And then maybe end it. I just need to see how much I have here. I would really like to be fully, solidly done with the midpoint before I end this video so that you don't have to hear about it next video. Okay, you're welcome in advance. Yeah. So I'll see you next time I write, I guess.
Worries come dressed as night to plunder dreams and whispered out to scattered light reflects your mind, splinters facts from fictions. It's dark outside, it's cold in here, there's nothing left but all your fears. You're falling like the moon falls in the sky. There's nowhere to land anyway. Hold me tightly like I was there. I face the things that you don't dare. Whisper softly in your ear, everything is gonna be alright. It's dark outside, it's cold in here, there's nothing left but all your fears. You're falling like the moon falls in the sky.
Hello. I come to you bearing great news, which is that actually, remember how I've been like, oh, this scene is coming that I don't know how to, like, I have to write this new scene. I already did that. I think I'm forgetting that I'm like 7 to 6 drafts into this book. Like, I've done most of the work already. I do need to make some changes to it, but really it's more of a flow thing, which I actually already made the changes. I haven't like implemented them, but I've made them on the paper. Because I was thinking that I had never had her figure out the information, and she did figure it out on the page. She just thought about it in a weird way. Like she just like didn't think about the information that she had. Like I just had her kind of like do a slippery slope argument on the page of like, these are the 2 things it could be, and here's why I think it's this, and I'm gonna make a phone call, you know, which doesn't really, this is so hard to explain, but essentially all I needed to do was have her actually think through the information that we actually have found out, and I have added a few things and structured it a little bit differently throughout so that it's more clear to the audience, like, what does Danny know in chapter 5? What does Danny know in chapter 10? What does Danny know in you know, like I've had her just think about that a little bit more. And so then in this scene where she's like figuring everything out, she just has to like recall all of this evidence and information. And so it's just a matter of like rearranging paragraphs at this point, I think. But it is there. Like I don't have to write a whole new scene, which thank the good Lord, because that is amazing. And that means we're like fully in Act 2, Part 2. I'm feeling much better about it than I was like, well, actually the next couple scenes are gonna be a little dicey. And once I get past that, then I think I'm at the point where I have already done significant line edits. Let's all be honest, I'll do more, but it's finally coming together, everyone, which is really exciting. So last night I implemented all of that stuff from the Midpoint, which honestly, it was miserable. It was so miserable. It was like so many changes, but they were all like, I don't want to say that they were inconsequential because they were important to make, but they were all very line level, but then they were all just like annoying enough to take a long time, but not significant enough to make it, like, it was just like, some of the edits that I make are like replacing a word or adding in a sentence, but this one was like, I was like moving sentences around and paragraphs around and writing in here and there and like crossing off, and like I was like, oh, and then it got a little bit sloppy too with my on the page edits, because I would be like, add in some setting, and then I'm like, you mean I have to write setting right now? Like, girl. I still think that the scene I just edited does need a little bit more setting. I will be honest and for real. So I think I'm gonna try to do that, but it is going well. We are firmly the Act 2, Part 2. So thank you for being here. Can we all just give a big round of applause thank you to Catherine? None of you know her. You don't know this woman, but she's one of my beta readers. And get yourself a beta reader like this who will tell you like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. Be for real. It's hard because I think a lot of beta readers, like I've had other beta readers point things out and critique partners point things out that were also really helpful. Catherine is just like a really picky reader. Like this is who I would recommend having as a beta reader, is honestly someone who's not a writer, because I mean, don't get me wrong, my writing beta readers have been amazing as well, but I think it's good to have somebody who reads a lot and doesn't write, because when you're a writer, you're kind of, as you're reading things, you're thinking like you know how hard it is to get something across and like how like the actual process of writing. And so I think you maybe are a little bit more forgiving of things, because it's like, oh, well, I know what you were trying to get at here. Like I understand plot structure because I write books, like, so I know where this is going, but readers don't typically think like that. And she's one of those readers, like I read her reviews on Goodreads and they're like, this was unbelievable. Like, I get that you're supposed to suspend disbelief, but like, here's what I don't buy, and like, here's what doesn't work. And I'm like, this is the kind of reader I need, because she points out a lot of things about like, why would he do that? Why would he not just tell her? Because she does not like the miscommunication trope, and she doesn't like when people are dumb. And I think that that's something we kind of overlook, like, because when you're thinking about your character, it's like, oh, they've been through so much, like this, and you have a really strong motivation of like, this is why, hopefully, this is why they're doing what they're doing. But the reader still might clock and say like, hey, that's not resonating with me. Like, I don't think that she would not say that. I don't think he would skip over that conversation with her, you know? And so then it's not even that you need to change it, but that signifies to me like all these reasons that I know why he's not saying it, I need to put those on the page more. So yes, everybody give a round of applause to Catherine, because she made me do a lot more work, but it's good. It's all good work. I needed to do it. So I'm still gonna be on, I think I'm still gonna be on pins and needles until I finish this book, this round, because then I think then I will truly know if it makes sense or not. Will I ever though? I know it does objectively, but like, does it really? Anyway, I'm gonna leave you for this video. I think it's actually pretty long by now. I don't really know. Let me know how it's going. Comment down below a coffee emoji. I didn't show you all the coffee shops I went to. I was just at a coffee shop for like 3 hours, but I've mostly just been at coffee shops. They're gonna be sick of me, but I'm a rewards member. It's so interesting actually, because I was just at a coffee shop. And it was like 7 to 9 a.m. was when I was there. And for a while it was busy for like 15 minutes, and then it was super dead. And then all of these old people came in. And I was like, this is where not that this whole group just came in. They were having a great time. They were drinking coffee. They were gabbing. I was like, can I retire? Because that sounds lovely. Anyway, I will see you so soon. Thank you for watching. Like, comment. I never do this. I'm going to start doing that. No, maybe like this video, Subscribe if you want to be, and also I do have linked if you want to buy me a virtual coffee, because I have been purchasing a lot of coffee, so I could use some assistance replenishing. Yeah, I don't really think do I have anything else to plug? Instagram? I literally do nothing on Instagram, but if you want to follow me, Alyssa Writes Books, I think it is on Instagram. I don't know. Okay, bye, see you later.